the Biden-Harris administration done for the Black community?
Yeah, so it's hard to kind of list it all out, and I think that's one reason that they've struggled communicating, because they've done so much. So let's talk about Black wealth in this country. One thing that we always talk about is our coins in our pockets, right? And so right now people are saying, listen, food is still high, housing is still high. I don't know what y'all talking about on this economy thing, but at the same time, we know that the Black wealth gap has actually decreased. So we know that there has been an increase in wealth. Well, we know that costs in general have gone up, but at the same time, this administration has pushed for higher wages, not for the people at the top, but the people in the middle. We've seen this president right there on the picket line with workers. They have supported unions. By supporting unions, you are supporting regular, everyday people and making sure that those wages go up. Even the wages of non-union jobs have to go up, because then they have to compete. So that's number one. Number two, as I've gone out, I talked to Omega Psi Phi, I've talked to Delta Sigma Theta, and I know that if you're in a Black sorority or fraternity, that means that you most likely went to college, because you got to go to college to join. In addition to that, the numbers show that we are disproportionately burdened by student loan debt. So I asked them, how many of y'all have taken out student loans? Typically, almost the entire room raises their hands. But more importantly, I've asked them, now how many of you have had your student loan debt relieved? And a number of hands go up. Now, we usually don't talk about our money, but I need people to start telling the good news. They need to start telling people about the fact that, yeah, it may cost me a little bit more for my housing right now, but you know what? That 6 figures that I had on my back with that student loan debt is gone, so I can go ahead and pay this. Now, it hasn't happened for everybody because I'm still waiting on mine. Jesus, if you're listening. But nevertheless, I know that $157 billion so far has been relieved, despite the obstacles that are presented by this Supreme Court. And another thing that I'll focus on, because I can go on and on and on, whether we're talking about the HBCU investments, investing $16 billion right now in HBCUs, the most that we've ever seen is $253 million. That's investing in our Black engineers, doctors, nurses, everybody, because the numbers show that a disproportionate number of our Black professionals come out of our HBCUs. So that's directly investing in them. But as a Black woman living in a country where I somehow have less rights over my body than my mama had when she was growing up, I want to say that, especially in a state like Texas, where the maternal mortality rate was always terrible. But when you start talking, and when I'm talking about Black maternal mortality rate, I need somebody that cares about my life. I need somebody that cares not in their words. Don't give me your thoughts and prayers. I'll go holler at my pastor about that. What I need you to do is I need you to give me policy that is going to save my life. And right now, they are killing us. Women are dying, whether they are physically dying or they're killing their wombs. So for me, it's a really big deal. And not to mention when we start talking about voting rights and civil rights and the fact that we are absolutely trying to make sure that people have access to the ballot box, whereas the other side is like, if you're not, old and white, we don't want you to vote. Yeah.
So the hip-hop community is all of us, and unfortunately they're leaning towards the other side. What would you say specifically to our young voters and our hip-hop community?
Yeah, what I would say is that we're not looking for a hip-hopper in chief, right? Like, we looking for a commander in chief, right? And so as I go out a lot of times, one of the things that I talk to people about, because I understand that there's some disagreement with the current administration, and I think that that's okay. I think that so long as we have a democracy, we'll be allowed to disagree. We'll be allowed to protest. And that is what's on the line right now. But you're not looking for your best friend. You're not looking for your bae, your husband. And you honestly not looking for your next rapper in chief. What you're looking for is somebody that knows how to govern and govern with the people in mind. So I will tell you, you may not think that Joe is cool because he ain't got no gold tennis shoes or whatever nonsense Trump is trying to sell that allegedly makes him cool, whether it's a mug shot or whatnot. As far as I'm concerned, that makes you look like a clown. And to me, you don't look like what I need out of my president. Because if you, for some reason, would not have voted for Barack Obama, if he had a mug shot, if he was trying to slang gold shoes, then you shouldn't be trying to vote for this guy, the orange guy. If you wouldn't have done it for the black man, you shouldn't do it for the orange one. But But more importantly, the times are too serious. If you care about the fact that this Supreme Court is consistently taking our freedoms away, like we're talking about, they're basically saying, hey, black folk, we don't want you to show up at our institutions. That is what this Supreme Court does. This is Trump's Supreme Court. They have lifetime appointments. You talk about putting the game on lock. You talk about somebody being in the criminal justice system. The criminal justice system has always been unjust when it came to us. But somehow they changing the rules to the game when it comes to him. Is that what you really want? Is somebody who is only looking for freedom from a jail cell? Or do you want somebody that is trying to make sure that our freedoms are protected so that we can live in a space in which we can breathe clean air, drink clean water, and have clean soil? Because this administration understands environmental injustice, understands that they have used us as a dumping grounds, and they have literally been killing us. And so you know what they've done? They've not just understood it and said, oh, baby, I understand. They have put their money where their mouth is. I have handed out millions of dollars into my district where people have been suffering with cancer and asthma and all types of things because corporations have been allowed to poison us. You need to look at what somebody's done and stop getting caught up in the games. And for those sexy reds out there, and we both from St. Louis, but I'm gonna make it clear, he ain't give y'all no checks, and you ain't getting no more. And frankly, I don't know why we screaming louder about stimulus checks, because 2 of them came from Joe, to be clear, and really it was Nancy. If y'all really want to break it down, Nancy Pelosi is the real OG. Y'all need to put some respect on her name, because she was the one that absolutely decided to draft the legislation, and the Democratic Senate is the one that agreed with the legislation, and all Trump did was slow down your checks because he wanted to put his name on it, okay? So and it was 1 check. The other 2 came from Biden-Harris administration, in addition to making sure that those of you that have been struggling with child care, you could get $300 per child a month with the child tax credit. You know who's blocking that right now? The Republicans in the House. So if you're looking for somebody that understands what you're going through, whether it's housing, because they absolutely know that the interest rates are high, and what they want to do is give you a housing stimulus. Like, we trying to do it, but the only people blocking are the Republicans in the Supreme Court and the Republicans in the House. If you want to be blocked more in your life, then fine. But if you want to open up your blessings, then I'm just telling you which way you need to go. It needs to be Team Blue.